have supposedly this scheme in place to relocate a number of asylum seekers across the EU. A lot of people saying it isn't working. Even the European Council President Donald Tusk describing it as ineffective. Where do you stand on this?
Well, it's not working because there is no solidarity anymore in the European Union, you know. If all countries respect the agreement, it would work easily. But since there are a lot of countries denying to accept even one refugee, how the agreement could work?
How much of a burden is all this putting on Greece?
A lot of it. You know, because Greeks displayed in the very beginning, during the first 1-2 years of the refugee crisis, a lot of solidarity. But now the islands mainly are overwhelmed, and according to the agreement, it's compulsory that the refugees stay on the islands. They cannot be transferred to the mainland, and this creates for the islands an unsustainable, very difficult situation, and the extreme right is trying to take advantage of it on the islands. Mayors are in a very difficult situation, and you also have to take into account the whole economic situation in Greece, which is still very difficult.
And in terms of numbers, do you know how many people the country has had to take in?
Well, up to now, the number of refugees that are blocked in Greece, it's about 60,000 people. But the flow of the refugees has increased during the last months, since the summer. For an island of 20 or 30,000 people to accept and host 10,000 refugees is one of the third of the population. So it's getting very difficult, and the refugees, from their part, they are right to complain about the difficult conditions.
When you sit down and talk with your fellow MEPs from Eastern Europe, I don't know whether you do, talk about this issue, I just wonder what sort of conversations you have. Do you tell them, come on, show solidarity, share the burden?
Well, unfortunately, my deputies coming from the Eastern Europe, they don't share the same values, neither of solidarity nor of the European idea or union as a whole. It's something like every country tries to keep its own business, and there is a kind of growing nationalism. So they don't care at all. I'm trying to tell them that there's no such a union when there is any kind of solidarity at all. But I don't think we have a common space to field to discuss, unfortunately.
Do you have any possible solutions to offer beyond this disputed quota system?
Well, listen, if there is about the accepting and implying the economic agreements, then if you don't comply with the agreements, if you don't accept the agreements, then you have penalties and threats and ultimatums, whatever. So what if we do the same with the same rules we have for the economy, if we don't apply them for the refugee issue, which is a humanitarian issue and touches the fundamental values of the humanity and as well as of the European Union. If some countries do not accept refugees, violating the common agreements which have been taken together, all countries 2 and more years ago, they have to be punished. They have to face consequences. They have to have penalties. There have been several propositions on the table, including, for instance, that for every refugee they don't accept to pay a kind of penalty. You know, there are a lot of propositions on the table, but there is no such, you know, they don't want to, even the countries, not only the East European countries, but also the countries that are ruling the game right now in the European Union, they don't want to take any measures. And so Greece and Italy are abandoned completely to cope with a very difficult problem. They cannot cope alone.
Okay. Mr. Kouloglou, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us at this late hour. Thanks a lot.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.